Today is January 31st, 2022, and this is the Daily Zap. Of course, it's me, Emile, not the Emile Meister, the one and only, back with another edition of the Daily Zap. Of course, it is a 10 to 15 minute show every day in which we talk about everything and anything about the world of sports. I would apologize if I'm not really uploading that much lately. I'm still trying, I'm still in between jobs. I'm still trying to figure everything out. Still trying to sort things, so it takes away a lot of my time. But I promise you, as soon as it's all set, all done, I will be able to spend more time, upload videos, stream some gameplay, and have more content for everyone here who's following me on all my social media platforms. And speaking of, please follow me on all my social media platforms. Facebook, Emile Meister. On YouTube, that's Emile Nate. You can find it here. On Twitch, I am on Twitch, but I haven't uploaded a single stream since, I think, 3 weeks ago. But I promise, when I get everything sorted out, I will upload something on Twitch. I am also on Twitter at Emile_Meister. So yeah, just follow me on all my socials. So that just give me some support, give me some love and support. You know what I mean. Okay, so today we are going to talk about the NFL, and we just had the conference championship games today, and it was something. Wait just a minute. Let me just put this. There you go. There you go. All right, so the NFL Conference Championship games was held today, and it wasn't better than the previous week that we had that crazy divisional round. It wasn't like that, but this was a good couple of games here that we had today, and we are going to talk about them here on the Daily Zap. So first of all, let's go over the AFC Championship game. The Cincinnati Bengals defeating the Kansas City Chiefs 27-24 to advance to their first Super Bowl since 1988. That is a long time. 1988 was the last time the Cincinnati Bengals made it to the Super Bowl, and in the Super Bowl they lost against Joe Montana and Jerry Rice, the San Francisco 49ers at Super Bowl 23. So, let's talk about that game. As a Chiefs fan, this game really stressed out of me, because when I that game was really early in the morning, so I was still asleep. I was still in bed when the game started, and then I woke up at halftime, and it was 21-3. It was 21-3, and I thought this is going to be another Chiefs Super Bowl. And then I watched the second half, and I watched how the Bengals defense were all over Patrick Mahomes in the second half. And so for me, the hero of this game, I'm gonna go with the Bengals defense. Even though the Bengals in the offense, they had to do their jobs in order to score and get back into the game, but for me, they stopped Mahomes in the second half. And it was jarring to see Patrick Mahomes not converting on the plays that he always converts every single time. And in basketball terms, it's like he just had a cold day. It doesn't mean that he sucked. It doesn't mean that he's not a great quarterback. It just means he had a bad day. And it was a very wrong time for him to go cold. In the AFC Championship game of all games, for him to go cold like that. That is something that that sucked. And this is not the first time that it happened to the Chiefs this season. Let's all remember, in Week 17, the Chiefs needed that one to win, to have a bye, be the first seed in the AFC, but they weren't able to do that because they also collapsed in the second half of that game. So there seemed to be some kind of pattern here between the Chiefs and the Bengals, and that second half. That defense, man, that was one of the most amazing defensive showings I've ever seen in football in the last 10 years. They really got the job done. And the Chiefs is one of the best offenses in the NFL. They have been in the Super Bowl in the last 2 years. This is their fourth AFC Championship game, and that's because of their offense. Like, they have one of the most electrifying quarterbacks in all of football in Patrick Mahomes. They have a wonderful, wonderful offensive team right there with Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But they were all shut out earlier. I didn't even see Travis Kelce make a play in the second half. That's how good this Bengals defense actually was, and I'm giving all the credit in the world giving all the credit in the world to the Bengals. They really stepped it up in the second half, and they managed to come back from 18 down to get the lead, and then the Chiefs, somehow tied it up at the end of regulation. Then we had an overtime, and then we all thought it's gonna happen again. The Chiefs won the toss, and in the back of our minds, they thought, "Oh shit, this game is done. The Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl." And then Patrick Mahomes overthrew twice, and then on that third play, he got picked. And for me, that was it. Like Patrick Mahomes can't save this game, can't save this team at this point. It is done. When he threw that interception, because I have zero faith on the Chiefs defense, especially as how good the Chiefs are offensive wise. They're the exact opposite on the defensive end. Last week against the Bills, it was so stressing watching that defense really messed up everything. This game, the only they were still the same horrible defense, but the biggest difference here is that the Bengals, they, on the other end, on the defensive end, they were actually really fucking good, and they were able to neutralize the strength of the Kansas City Chiefs, which is their offensive attack and the quarterback. They got Mahomes so many times on outside the pocket, in the pocket. It was crazy to see Patrick Mahomes be dominated like that, because usually Mahomes is a guy who's he always gets his yards. He always gets his first downs. He always gets his fourth downs. But today it was so bizarre seeing a team dominate Patrick Mahomes like that, because I've been watching this kid, Patrick Mahomes, and this is the first time that he really underplayed, like in a playoff situation. Because you can't say that about their loss against the Patriots in 2018, because he balled out, and that was just a case of the Patriots being so lucky. And then when they lost against Tampa Bay, maybe that was the first time against Tampa Bay last year in the Super Bowl. But this was really shocking. Like, I thought the Chiefs were actually going to win this game. Actually, no doubt, after the first half, I thought this was done. I thought this was we are going to see the Chiefs again in the Super Bowl. But man, credit to the Bengals. So Joe Burrow getting the job done here, and he is in just his second year. That's amazing. 2 years ago, Joe Burrow was playing in the national championship, collegiate national championship, and 2 years later, he's playing in the Super Bowl. Can you name how many players in the history of football who has done the same thing? I don't think you can name anyone. So only, I think, Joe Burrow. He's already up there. The AFC in the next few years is going to be amazing with all these great quarterbacks. Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. They got Lamar Jackson as well. Deshaun Watson, if he decides to play again. Who else? Carson Wentz is still good. Derek Carr. So the AFC is really stacked with talented quarterbacks and exciting quarterbacks. The NFC, they're more traditional, with their quarterbacks. But the AFC, that's a conference to watch out for. And again, we had an amazing playoffs here in the AFC. And now the Bengals are going to represent them in the biggest game of the season, the Super Bowl, in 2 weeks. So go over to the other side, to the NFC Championship game. And it was the LA Rams winning against the San Francisco 49ers. Okay, I'm just gonna get what was the score of that game. Okay. Because I don't remember the score and there's no internet for some goddamn reason. Okay, so the Rams win that one 20-17. It was a more slow down game, but the 49ers were leading entering the fourth quarter, and for a sec I thought it was going to be 49ers Bengals. But man, kudos to Matthew Stafford. And San Francisco really blew this one. Like, I thought San Francisco lost this one more than the Rams won this one. And they had two kicks that pretty much sealed the victory here for LA. And they had that interception at the end. That really was the killer right there with a minute left. I pretty much had nothing else more to say about this game. But I think we could pretty much guarantee that Jimmy G is not going to be their quarterback next year. And neither is Trey Lance. I don't think Trey Lance is ready at this point. Because we saw Trey Lance a bit in this season, and he wasn't that good yet. I mean, it's too early to say, but he wasn't up to it. So, but I think, okay, here's the thing. I think either Rodgers or Brady will play in San Francisco next year. I really do. Because aside from Garoppolo, aside from the quarterback situation, this team is ready to contend next year. Deebo Samuel is amazing. Nick Bosa is a beast on the defensive end. This team is ready. This team is ready to contend. All they need is a legendary quarterback. Is a great quarterback, and I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is one. All respect to Jimmy Garoppolo, but they need to move on from Jimmy G, because this team has everything that they absolutely need to win the Super Bowl down the line. But I don't think it's gonna happen with Jimmy G. They already had two. They were close twice. They were in the Super Bowl in 2020. Of course, they lost that against Mahomes, where they were leading by 10 in the third quarter, but Mahomes did his magic. And this season, where they were only one win away from going back to the Super Bowl, but they blew it. They blew it in the fourth quarter. So I don't think Jimmy G is their guy. They're gonna search for another quarterback here, and Jimmy G is a free agent anyway, so he's going to leave. He's not coming back. I think Jimmy G is a free agent, if I'm not mistaken. So I think he's gone, and we still haven't got a confirmation that Tom Brady is going to retire, because we had that whole like fiasco a couple of days ago, where it was reported that he was going to retire, but he wasn't. He didn't say anything, but it got leaked that he was going to retire, but he hasn't made up his mind yet. So he might actually suit up for one more year, because Tom Brady this season, he was amazing. He still threw out 4,000 yards and had like 30 plus touchdowns this year. That's not someone that's not someone who's already under exits. Like, that is someone who can still go. And Tom Brady at 44 years old is still better than half of the league. So I think he's still going to play, and I think he's going to play in his hometown next year in San Francisco. Mark that here. I think Tom Brady is going to San Francisco, and this team is going to be a championship contending team for at least a couple of years with Tom Brady there. So yeah. So again, kudos to the Rams, kudos to the Bengals. They're going to the Super Bowl, and I am going to make my prediction in next week, because we're still 2 weeks away from the Super Bowl. Still, there's a lot of time between now and the Super Bowl, so we are going to do predictions on the next week, I guess. We also need to talk about the Rumble here, so maybe we are extending a little bit here on the Daily Zap. We need to talk about the Rumble. Man, that Royal Rumble match was really disappointing. It really was. Yeah, I talked about it already yesterday. I remember I did a Facebook Live where we were talking about my feelings about the Rumble, and man, usually Royal Rumbles are really good in WWE. They really do. Like, it doesn't matter who it is, because they always deliver with surprise appearances, the unpredictability of this. But this was the first time where it was really predictable. Like, when Brock entered at number 30, like, that's it. Like, this is done. He's going to win. we're going to have another Roman versus Brock matchup at WrestleMania, and it's really really starting to get tiring at this point, because Roman, like I've said this yesterday. Roman and Brock are going to face each other for the third time at WrestleMania, but they are not on the levels of Austin and Rock. No one is. And why do we need this matchup again? Can they create other stars? And a friend of mine had a good point, or I think I saw a post, I think, on Twitter, where Chris Jericho had this comment that one of the problems that WWE has for the past 20 years is, the lack of stars that they're creating. Yeah, there are guys like Cena, there are guys like Batista, Orton, and then you got the next generation, which was Punk and Bryan, and then you got the Shield. But those are only 10 guys out of 100 superstars that comes and go in WWE. There's a problem there. And everyone has a place in WWE, but it should the focus should not always be in the main events. Everything should be given up importance. The mid card, upper mid card, even the lower lower card wrestlers should have an importance, and they should have something for us to care about. If that guy's doing nothing, why would we care about that guy? So, and that's the thing that WWE is really lacking for. They do not have long-term storylines. They're always thinking short-term in terms of creative and what they will do with their programs. They always seem to just go for the moment. It's kind of like Big E last year when he cashed in his money in the bank to become WWE champion. What happened after that? I mean, he had a couple of great matches, but aside from that, he just lost it to Brock Lesnar. And we are back to where we were last year with Bobby Lashley winning the WWE Championship and the WWE not knowing what to do with the WWE Championship. They still have no plans for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. But with the Universal title, in which the only people they seem to care about are there, and they already penciled in this main event, which I really wish Seth Rollins could still be involved, because that feud is not over after what we saw last night. That they should continue that feud, and I feel like Seth deserves a WrestleMania main event. He hasn't main evented a WrestleMania ever since the one that he main evented at WrestleMania 31, which had Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. So again, WWE. The Royal Rumble is one of your best events of the year, and you somehow fucked it up. And it's kind of sad, because again, I'm a wrestling fan. I love wrestling, but it's kind of disappointing seeing WWE at this state. And I wish they would get better, but with the way things are going, I don't think things are gonna get better in WWE unless something really drastic change happens. So again, we are going too long here. Okay, so before I can end this, again, please follow me on all my socials. That's right there below. Just check them out. And also, please catch my Facebook page. I am posting there daily. I think not really daily, but weekend episodes of the simulation that I'm doing from the year 2008 in NBA 2K22. We just got through the 2011 and 12 regular season. For the next episode, we're going to go through the 2012 NBA playoffs, and then the draft, and then everything that follows. So, this is it for the Daily Zap. Again, we are going 20 minutes on this one. This is Emile, not Emile Meister, the one and only, saying always stay safe, and I will see you on the next Daily Zap.